What is going on, 5'9 gamers? My name is Joe Wags, and today I will be your host for your favorite podcast, the Dokkan Battle Podcast. Our podcast is presented to you by 5'9 Gaming and our friends at Manscaped. Manscaped is your source for all things male hygiene related, and 5'9 is your source for all things gaming, anime, and entertainment related. Be sure to like and subscribe to stay up to date on all things 5'9. Today's episode is number 93. Welcome to the Grand Tour. We have a very interesting show for you today. We got a really good JP Dokkan Fest character to talk about. With Anniversary still kicking on Global, so some things to talk about there. I can't do this alone, though. I need some other fantastic Dokkan players to help me out here. So let me introduce our guest today. First up, we have TechPan's biggest fan, Minato. How are you doing today?
So, okay, the theory is, right, TechPan, right, is both the successor of Tech Ultimate Gohan and then S-Tier Blue Kaioken. So finally, we come together, both APT and DPT, whatever it's called.
DPT.
And we come together and we're finally all as one. We are united by Pan.
Wow.
I knew
The
she would
best
be
unit in
your...
the game.
That was so deep.
Yeah, I knew she'd be your favorite because she's directly related to Gohan, and she's a tech unit, so I knew we had it right there. Tech Ultimate Gohan successor, right there for y'all.
Yep.
Next up, we have the Genshin Grinder. Tystra, how you doing, my dude?
What is going on, my dudes, here in the podcast, my colleagues, and of course out there watching the video? I'm doing pretty good. Very excited to continue on with 7-year anniversary and can't wait for TechPan to show up on Global. That's all I could say.
Yeah, pretty hyped for TechPan. Not sure when she's dropping. Her time slot could be weird.
Like
'Cause I'm pretty Is it January? Because I'm pretty sure, haven't they sometimes brought this one a little bit earlier, like right after Worldwide? I could be crazy though.
I think there was one time, but usually the track
Wasn't it
record, I believe.
Tech Gohan?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's possible that it could be January or it could be a little bit earlier.
Yeah, they
I
could
think
slot
they should-
TechPan in instead of the Blue Boys in October.
You know, I think they should just get rid of Raditz and bring this out. Let's do that.
I'd be okay
Give
with
me
that.
that instead. Yeah. Although we already know Raditz is coming, and we all know we're already skipping. So there you go. So last up, we've got the Master of the Slime Gotcha, Joker. How you doing?
Good morning, everyone. I'm doing fantastic, and yeah, I'm ready for this global anniversary to finish, and that way we can get to Worldwide and get even more hyped units, hopefully. More Super Saiyan 4.
Yeah,
Woo!
Yep, I'm pretty excited for Worldwide myself. Well, so this was my other thought, because now people are thinking Worldwide's going to be Super Saiyan 4 Goku and Baby, and if that's the case, then it would make sense for Pan to directly follow that on Global. So that was kind of like my in-my-head theory, and I know they've done like time travel with units before on Global, so that's maybe me with wishful thinking, but we'll see. You never know. We can always speculate on Worldwide, so maybe at the end we can talk about that a little bit more if we have time. But yeah, let's jump into Global here. And Global, we've got the Part 2 LR, so that's the big thing we're dealing with right now. So we've got the Kaioken Goku and the Great Ape Vegeta. So first thing we want to talk about is how were your summons, and if you've used them, what do you think of the units? So we'll start with Joker on this one. Joker, how'd it go for you?
I didn't pull them because I'm not using stones anymore on anything until the Worldwide, and I used my rainbow tickets on the Gods banner for their second dupe, which I got. And then I sent everything else onto the banner, and I think I pulled, the Int Exchange Vegeta into Goku, and that's it. So I have not pulled them, but I did pull a usable unit, so, I mean, that's not bad.
Yeah, those are very, very good pulls. Tystra, how are your summons, or did you summon?
I did like one stone summon and then I used my tickets on these banners and I got absolutely crapped on. Like I did not get a single LR. I didn't get any units that I could actually use. Everything I pulled was like rainbow. The best unit I got was AGL Angel Super Saiyan 2 Goku.
Ooh,
And
ouch.
yeah, I've been able to rainbow him like 5 times over at this point. So
It sounds like all your luck went to a different game, Tystra.
I know, it's crazy, right?
That's the nice thing about playing multiple gotchas. You get shafted on one, and then the other might be nice to you. So, you know, That's
Exactly.
always nice. So for me, I didn't touch it with stones, but I did buy all the Pilaf tickets, and I did all my rainbow tickets, and I pulled 8 LRs, including 2 Kaioken Goku, 3 of Int God Goku, which rainbowed him for me, and then the other LRs were all ones that I had rainbowed, but 8 LRs on tickets and 2 of the new unit. I'll definitely take it.
How many multis did you get from the peel-off tickets?
Oh, it was like 7. I think I had like 7. Yeah, it was a lot. It was a decent amount.
That's a pretty good ratio for LRs then.
They were, and I believe they were 7 unit multis, but you're still guaranteed featured on them, so they were still very good value. So yeah, it was crazy. I have a summoning video on my channel if anyone wants to check it out. Plug myself there, whatever. But yeah, 8 LRs. It was crazy. So Joker, have you? So you said you didn't get them, but have you watched videos? Do you have any opinions on these units?
I don't have them, but I used a friend unit for both of them, and I'll go with Vegeta, since no one likes him. I'd have to agree with a lot of the sentiment out in the community right now that he is good, but mid in terms of overall value. Like grade 8 power, cool, giant form. I mean, yeah, it definitely needed a power boost, but he's not so game breaking that you need him. His guard is, restrictive. His giant 8 form is just like every other giant 8 form. It's pretty mid as well. He can do solid AoE damage, which is cool, but that's pretty much all you're going to use him for at that point. So totally 100%, I don't think not worth your stones. You can get him in like a free LR multi in like the New Year's step up or something, and you call it good.
Right. Tystra, do you have any thoughts on these units? Have you watched videos on them?
I mean, I haven't really watched too many videos on them, but in all honesty, like they fall under the same category for me as most of the other yellow coin banner LRs. Is that really legendary summons are not worth the time for the most part. I think personally for me, the only time that they're going to be worth it, or at least in my opinion, is when Zamasu comes out, because I really want that Zamasu on global.
Yeah.
But I mean, Vegeta's a great like asset to Giant Ape, I guess. That's about as far as it'll go. The AoE is really good, so it could work out for certain like stages of SBR, ESBR maybe. Probably not, but like they're okay. They're not fantastic, and they're not something that you should be summoning on, especially with Worldwide Celebration around the corner.
Yeah, so I'll talk really quick more about Kyle Ken, because I actually used him a lot because I got him at 69%, and this dude impressed the hell out of me, I'm not gonna lie. He's very easily, with the flick of his wrist, putting up 13 mil attack stats, but he is kind of a glass cannon unit, because he doesn't really have a lot of defense to put up. I think I had him against the Legendary Vegeta event against Final Flash Vegeta. Now, this was type disadvantage, but I had a Whison, and the dude still took 700k. It was kind of crazy. But dude, the Goku's hitting really hard, and he doesn't have additionals built in his passive, but when he additionals, he's doing Mega Class on his 12 key. So this dude's putting up 20 mil plus attack stats when he additionals, and mine's only at 69%. So you get this dude rainbowed. I mean, he is a nuke of a unit. He's really fun. And for say like a free-to-play player that maybe pulls this guy at 55%, you link him up with your free version Z Goku, and he's looking pretty darn impressive. Now, I wouldn't say that rotation is red zone viable. You might be able to squeeze it through, but like for most of the game, like it's a really fun rotation to run, so I do like them. The other thing I think we really need to point out here is they massively improved the banner on Global. So on JP, this banner was just the 2 new LRs, and it was a 12-unit banner with the rest of it being garbage other than Heart Virus Goku. They went ahead and upped this sucker to 4 LRs, dropped it down to 10, left Heart Virus Goku on there. It started off as a banner where like maybe 3 out of the 12 units were decent pulls. Now it was like 5 out of 10 for a decent pull. So the rates just increased like crazy on this thing, which makes it a lot more tempting. But even with that banner being that much better, I agree with Tystra. It's still, as a free-to-play player, you need to be saving for Worldwide, because as good as the Goku and Vegeta are, like you're not going to use them a ton. I think Vegeta's biggest problem is linking partners. I think that's the biggest problem with him, is finding good linking partners. Do you want to link him with LR Nappa Vegeta? Do you want to link him with, other, banner unit Vegetas that are Saiyan Saga? Like, probably not. They're not as viable, right? Minato, I'm going to jump to you here as a JP player that's maybe got a little bit more experience with these units. Do you have anything to add on these units? Any opinions from you?
Because of their link set, I don't use them personally.
Because of the link set, yeah.
they don't really work well with any of the other best top units in the
Yep.
game, right? So the units that you're going to want to use, you didn't work well with them as other units would, and it's unfortunate. They can be pretty strong in the right situations, especially Goku. I think it's much easier to set him up, but it's like I just feel like I just don't end up like I have to go out of my way to use Goku, and I'm like, oh yeah, I have to put Goku in every single team I'm on, right? He works perfect with the team, right? He's so very powerful, and I just personally enjoy using both of them though. It's fun to meme on Graded Vegeta though. That's really all I have to say. They're
Sure.
good, but I think their link sets should have been way better. My opinion, anyways.
Can
Well,
I
and I yeah, go
piggyback
ahead.
onto your talk about the banner real fast?
Yeah.
So we've already seen them revamp the single LR banner, where it's what is it, 7 featured units and 2 LRs, 3 LRs on it. And then this is our first time that we're seeing a top legendary summon with 2 LRs. And so I think that moving forward, they will keep, the single new LR into that setting, and then any top legendary summons from now on will be the 4 LRs, 10 featured units. So we can definitely probably expect that same format for part 2 of Worldwide Celebration as well, which depending on what those LRs are going to be, because they're generally 2 LRs featured there as well, it could be a pretty nasty banner in that celebration.
Right, I'm already picturing it if it's a GT celebration, right? That they would have the 2 new GT LRs, and then I would imagine Grade 8 Baby and then Goku, Trunks, and Pan would be the other 2. Unless Goku, Trunks, and Pan gets their own EZA banner or something, then they would put something else there. But yeah, that definitely could be pretty nasty of a banner to summon on, and it definitely makes it more tempting with the better rates. I think too, when looking at this Kaioken, Goku, and Vegeta for global, I think what global players need to think about is we have the foresight to know what's coming out. And when we're seeing these future saga, like really busted units, like the LR Zamasu that was brought up earlier, that's a yellow coin unit that to me is really worth going for. They're meta defining red zone super viable units. That's the type of unit you go in on. I would say this Goku and Vegeta, yeah, you just pick them up, maybe in the 8th anniversary on your, 88 ticket pull or whatever, you hopefully get them, or on the New Year's step ups, you get them. But I don't think they're must-have units because, like Minato said, with their links, the teams are going to run them on. It's not ideal setups. The thing with Goku, like when I'm running Goku units, you want Super Saiyans that link really good. Like the STR Goku Gohan, they have that insane link set that links with like Namek Goku and Broly and like all these other Super Saiyans that just link so well together. He just doesn't have the ideal link set, right? And you got to link him up with version Z Goku, which isn't an ideal on rotation unit. So, any other thoughts on these LRs before we move on?
Easily skippable.
Yeah, easily skippable. Trust me, guys. It seems tempting because it's like the new exciting thing. But dude, you're gonna see the worldwide banners are gonna be so ridiculously good and so hype. No matter what the theme is, it's gonna be good. They always do a good job with it. So, anyways,
if I
yeah,
was
go
a
ahead.
global player, I'd be waiting for Reddit's.
Amazing.
Yeah, let's go.
Fake news.
Yeah.
Woo! Best unit in the game.
To even tempt me on Raditz, they would have to throw Ginyu or something on there to even tempt me. But I think they're saving Ginyu to put on both versions on the worldwide banners, which would make them.
Ginyu's on Pan's
Well,
banner right
Ginyu's
now.
on Pan's
Yeah.
banner. So.
Oh, he is. He came back on JP.
Ginyu's on Pan's banner, which makes it even a better banner right there.
Well, then Raditz might be the spot for Ginyu, and then I might
And
have to summon a little bit.
future
Or actually, I'll
Trunks
choose red coins.
as well.
No,
Yeah,
'cause
Trunks is the
AGO
most
Trunks
likely.
hasn't returned, right?
Yeah,
So.
he's the most likely. But I can hope. They might have to put them both on there. I mean, everyone knows how bad Raditz is, so.
They're not going to put 2 return units. I doubt it.
Yeah.
Minato,
opinion,
don't
anyways.
doubt Dokkan. Don't doubt them. It could happen. Don't shatter my dreams here.
No.
You never know. All right. Well, all right. With that, before we move on to our next topic, we are going to just pause for a quick word from our sponsor.
Support for the show is brought to you by Manscaped, who is the best in men's below-the-waist grooming. Their products are precision-engineered tools for your family jewels. Manscaped's Performance Package is the ultimate men's hygiene bundle. Join over 4 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped with this exclusive offer just for you. You can get 20% off and a free worldwide shipping discount with the code down below on your screen right now at manscaped.com. If my math is correct, that equates to around 8 million balls. So basically, we received the Performance Package 4.0 in the mail, and we're going to go through quickly what came in the package. So first things first, we did receive the Manscaped Weed Whacker. That's the first thing here, obviously. This is the electric nose and hair trimmer. Then they actually did provide us with some boxer briefs right here. Then we actually ended up getting the lawnmower trimmer over here. Then we ended up getting the crop preserver, which is a deodorizer, very useful. And then we got the crop reviver, which is a toner. So this package, very, very useful if you guys are interested in this. Even if you yourself are not going to use this, you can buy it as a gift for somebody. But yeah, just don't forget that in order to get this, you have to use the code. Well, you don't have to use the code down below, but it would give you a big discount if you use the code down below. 20% off and free shipping with the code. Depending on what podcast you guys are watching right now, it'll be different. But the code right here on your screen is what you use to get the 20% discount as well as the free shipping. Unlock your confidence and always use the right tools for the job with Manscaped.
All right, and we are back. And next up, we're going to talk about part 3 of the anniversary. So the first thing we have is we've got some big boy red zone stages coming. I'm actually going to go to Minato on this one because you have more experience. Do you have any words of wisdom or advice for players on how to tackle these stages? Shenron, Broly, some of these hard stages that we got coming up?
Okay, I guess I could give a little bit on all the stages, right?
Sure.
So I'll start with Bojack. Be careful with this. The first phase, don't let the minions catch you off guard. They can hit you pretty hard. The second stage, again, is pretty difficult as well. The third stage, he locks you and sees you guaranteed every turn, which I feel like people are thinking of Omega and Broly. I personally think that Bojack is harder than Omega, more difficult, because his guaranteed seal unlock every turn is the most annoying thing ever. He seals unlock your third unit for slot 1 and you're dead. You can't do anything. It's absurd. And then oh my god, he hits so hard too. Janemba is pretty difficult, but I didn't really find him that difficult because he doesn't really have any special gimmick that could really annoy you, though his super attack does hit for around 1 million damage when in his final phase. He shares a health bar with the second and third phases, so you can kind of take him down pretty quickly, I feel. I think we know how hard Broly is at this point. Just bring tech units and use a double weast against the AoE phase and pray. That's all I'm gonna say. For the GT side, I didn't really Super 17 hits hard for sure, but you can kind of run a full AGL kind of setup and then get through him. Just keep in mind he does absorb Ki Blast super attacks, so those Ki Blast super attacks can catch you off guard and he heals from them. So even active skills, so if you're using the Year 7 LR Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta or the Gods, right, or LR Super Saiyan 4 Goku when he gets his EZA, right, units like that, their active skills count as blast super attacks still. Keep that in mind. So if that happens, you could possibly heal them by accident, and you don't want to do that, right? You just have to be careful with the first two, right? They could be a little more difficult still, but I didn't find him that difficult, me personally, no iteming and everything like that. The Shadow Dragons, there's the Shadow Dragon stage, where it's all 6 of the Shadow Dragons except for Sin. It's a very long one, and you could build up your units pretty quickly in there. I wouldn't say don't underestimate it, but out of the 6 new stages, I would say that one is probably the easiest one, just because it's a very difficult infinite Dragon Ball history. And then Omega Shenron, really just, you want to bring physical units, but you have to be careful with the second phase, that's STR. And then his countdown, obviously, we know hits for 1.5 million damage at the end of every second turn. And you just have to kind of watch where you place your units, have a very strong floating unit to take that AoE attack, or maybe you'll get lucky and you can nullify it, right? It just depends. The first phase can lock, seal, and then he could attack and defense lower you on a super attack effect. But yeah, I went on for a little, but I just think that going over each separate stage for my personal experiences and the things I would watch out for, because I played these stages so many times, especially trying to do showcases. My throat is dying. I'll let someone else take over while I take a drink of water.
No, that's good. That's a great synopsis. I think that's great for everyone. Tystra, do you have any thoughts of these stages coming up, or just want to talk about your red zone experience so far?
I'm a scared. No, this is gonna be one of those things where people are gonna be like, "Oh, Tystra's not a Genshin player at all." I haven't done red zone, but
Did you say Genshin?
yeah. Oh, Tystra's not a Dokkan player. Sorry, Genshin on the brain. But Tystra's not a Dokkan player. But I haven't done the red zone yet. Just because I've been trying to make sure that I get some of my units to link level 10, so that way they're more of a benefit going into the red zone. I've been lacking for a while, so now I'm making my comeback. But definitely gonna be using Minato showcases when it comes to the red zone. Obviously Minato, this is me blowing smoke up your butt, but
Thanks.
the brain power
The
on
brain
Minato
power.
when it comes to like Dokkan is astounding. So I'm gonna be using his tutorials to like really get myself through these stages.
Big brain strategies right there.
Big
That's
brain.
right. You know, Tystra, you should wait till all the stages are out, use Minato's tutorials, and then just do a stream and like beat all of them in one stream. I want to see that happen.
Okay,
That's a good idea.
That is a good idea. I might actually, Minato, I'm gonna go through your videos and get a list of characters I need to link level 10 before I do that. Then
Have fun.
There you go. Joker, how about you? Any thoughts on the new stages or just your overall experience so far with Red Zone?
I mean, this is where the big boys come out to play, right? These next phases of Red Zone. I know a lot of people, including myself, have been using like the heroes teams and not, the greatest teams in the world to smack some of the lower stages around, and that's great and all. But these last stages pretty much require that 200% lead. So not running them is just going to make your life even more difficult than it should be, especially with only one item and, only some units are on the 200% lead. So it's definitely the ramp up. So just be on the lookout for that and don't expect to go into, Omega Shenron and Broly with the Defenders of Justice team or whatever and
Right.
expect to win every single time, especially when you're only limited to 3 attempts. So temper your expectations for some of those one-off teams that you might want to use for funsies.
Yeah, if you're someone that's kind of coasted through so far, I would expect to use multiple uses per day. I wouldn't expect to get on your first try. Doesn't mean you can't. Like, good skilled players could get it done their first try, but a lot of it doesn't even matter how skilled you are and what units you have. Sometimes RNG will just kill you. On the stages where they lock and seal, they could put, like Minato was saying, they could put your slot 3 unit there, and there's literally nothing you can do. You might be out of items or something, and yeah, go ahead, Minato.
It's so annoying. It's like with Omega, you kind of bring sensu beans, right? And then it's like you use the items, like if you get really unlucky, and then you don't have items for that. Or Bojack, right? You have to bring like sensu beans and actual Whis or Android 8 or something like that, because you need to get rid of that debuff sometimes. And like you said, if you use other items and then you're kind of screwed, what are you supposed to do but just fail and die? Right?
Yeah. Yep. A quick note on Shenron I wanted to ask you, because when he's doing his countdown super, is it always in slot 3?
Yeah, so it's always the final attack in the second
turn. Okay.
Turn, right? There is a pattern. There's a pattern. I think it's like the 10th attack is one of the countdown, like one of the first attacks, and the second rotation is a countdown, right? So you can kind of plan, like, if you have a weaker unit, to put them in a slot where one of the countdown activations going off, so that you don't have to take an attack, because you have to keep in mind he still does it like a countdown, right? So one of the attacks aren't actually an attack but a countdown in each rotation. So you can kind of plan that to take less damage. I've seen that happen before, so yeah.
Okay, very, very good. Next up, we've got the Year 3 LR EZAs coming. So I guess I'll start with Joker on this one. Do you have any thoughts on these units? I don't know how much you looked at them on JP. Do you have one that you're looking forward to more than the other? Any thoughts on the Year 3s?
I mean, before they were officially released, I was really looking forward to Gogeta, and unfortunately he's just a gigantic L. And there's no other way to go around that. The Vegito is just a far superior unit, unfortunately, for all the Gogeta stands out there. His counters and damage reduction is just so much better than Gogeta's, what was it, like chance to dodge and crit, even though he's super effective against all types.
Right,
It's
it's redundant.
Doesn't even matter.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to both, but Vegito has more realistic usage.
Sure. Tystra, do you have any thoughts on the year 3s coming out?
Return of Int Vegito Supremacy. Yes, I am so happy. I have a little bit of nostalgia factor when it comes to Int Vegito, because that was when I came back to Dokkan after like my second year, and I didn't really care. So I'm super happy that Int Vegito is back in the great graces, even though I don't think it truly left, especially with what, like, they were still prominent in a lot of, team comps in general. So now that they've got this boost, I'm so happy to be able to use them and continue to say Int Vegito Supremacy. Also, physical Gogeta can kick rocks.
I mean, yeah, sadly but true.
I think for me too, like I'm excited about these units. I think the problem with the units is they got quickly overshadowed by the Super Saiyan 4s, which are coming very soon as well. But they're not bad units. They're definitely good. I think their biggest value is that they have that transformation healed. I think that's where they get their biggest value in Red Zone. And I think when I was watching, when the anniversary was going to JP, there were JP players using the uneasy versions of these guys to get through Red Zone just because that heal is so valuable. So I think there's value in these units for all players. I think these are great for free-to-play players because I think a lot of players have them. They have been on banners a ton since they released. So most players, unless you are brand new, will have these with dupes, if not rainbowed. So I think they're great units to add to boxes. They are instantly a great rotation you can run on a lot of teams. So I do like that as well. Minato, what are your thoughts on the year 3s having some actual experience with them in game?
I would say, again, in Vegito specifically, I think he's kind of tied together with physical Gogeta a little, and although people understand he's better, I think that there is a wider gap than people would say. I think that specifically the Int Vegito is a little underrated. Their base forms is the issue, though. They don't really do much in their base forms. If they had like a high chance to evade, that would change things, I think, a lot for them. But they only have the medium chance to evade. And while, like in Vegito's defense is solid after he super attacks, it's not like anything special. It's like 300k at most, right? So until they transform, they're not really like the greatest units ever. But again, I think that global players, you're going to hear a lot of GB players call these guys like kind of bad in their base forms, which is understandable. But I think they'll be surprised in how powerful and effective they could actually be with that full turn, with that full heal on 6th turn. Although it's a little long to get that. Once you get that off and they transform, especially with Vegito, you feel like you're saved. Gogeta, it's like they should have made him better. Really, there's not really much I could say about that. Unfortunately. They gave him some weird, they increase his evasion, which is not as good as damage reduction, in my opinion. And they give him crits, even though he's already super effective, Joker said. It's kind of weird, but they're both very usable for Red Zone, I'd still say. You just have to kind of be careful sometimes, especially type disadvantage. But if you get that heal off, that's such a helpful factor of them, which is why I personally like them better than I think other people do.
Yeah, for sure. I'm just excited for them because it'll be fun to have more units in my box that I can use, and I think they're going to be pretty solid. So, Global also has everyone's favorite mode coming up, Chain Battle. And the main thing I guess I'll just say here is that you basically just want to use a bunch of Kaioken Gokus and a bunch of Grade 8 Vegetas. I'll just open up. Does anybody want to comment on the upcoming Chain Battle at all? It's pretty basic.
Yeah, no, the Chain Battle.
Yeah. Oh, everyone wants to talk about Chain Battle. Okay, Tystra, go ahead. Excited for Chain Battle?
Not really.
No, okay.
I love Chain Battle and World Tournament. Please give me more.
Yeah,
yes,
that's all
please.
I want. They should just come out with a separate app called Dragon Ball World Tournament Battle, and that's all it is World Tournament. That's what we need.
Weekly World Tournaments I think is better.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
my God.
Top grossing. There you go. Right there. All right, so that was pretty basic, so we'll just skip past Chain Battle. Does anybody else have anything to bring up on the global side before we move to JP? I'm not sure if we missed anything.
we're still waiting on that mystery global exclusive event. So
Yeah,
Yeah.
so one thing I'll say is I just checked the news today, and they're like, "Oh, the sprite is going to be updated on your profile screen," and I'm like, "That better not be the global first thing." I'm pretty sure they got that on JP, and it
Yeah,
looked
they
like
did.
Goku in a Nimbus cloud. So I'm like, "All right, whatever." Like,
Yeah, I'll confirm we have that. So
okay, yeah. All right. And we do actually something I will bring up. It is confirmed. We saw like a screenshot from the data that we are getting the friend banner update, which is awesome. And Joker, you need to summon on this. You can't skip this.
All right.
It is such high value.
How many?
So
I'm
here-
gonna check how many points I have right now for that.
Yeah, so here's the thing, guys. For those of you that are not familiar with this, and this is probably coming out like within days. I think it's coming out very soon. But the reason why this is high value is you're going to get lots of Hercule statues, which is just easy money. And with how much EZAs cost, like their players could be getting low on money. So it's really great to get money. Any free-to-play players or new players that don't have the LRs in there, the LRs are actually solid. In there, especially the androids and Saiyaman 1 and 2, like they're actually solid units with their EZAs. But the big thing is they'll put Kais on there. There'll be sleeping Kais, there'll be grand Kais, and I think you can just get straight up Elder Kais too. So the amount of Kais you get in there is insane. And we've talked about it almost every week that Minato's barely got Kais and we've got like over 200. And I don't know if that's the discrepancy, if it's literally just that banner.
No,
I know
it's not,
Global
because I
gets
don't
stuff in
summon on
tickets.
it, and I still have 200 Kais. So I don't
Okay,
know what
well,
Minato's
guess
doing.
what? I don't know what you spend your Kais on, but probably nothing.
Somebody,
I don't know, guys.
somebody's got a skill issue. It's either us on the global side or it's Minato. I don't know. Someone's got a skill issue here. We got to figure it out. But I think it's just global is better than JP, and we get way more Kais. They just give us more stuff. I don't know.
I have
I
3.5
think
I mean,
million
again, you
friend
guys
points,
also
by the way.
have all those like peel off trove packs that give you tons of Kais too, right?
Yep. It's probably in
and
that
that
as
box
well.
space.
Yeah. Hey,
I am
we could-
jealous of that. I'm jealous of that.
All right, if you're a global player, I want global players to comment in this video when you're watching it later. Tell us how many Kais you have. I'm curious just to see how many Kais the average global player has, because I'm kind of like a mini whale. Like I buy a lot of stuff, but I kind of wonder what the average. Tystra, how many Kais you got?
I don't think I have that many. I think about like 40 to 50 Kais all around. So
Okay.
doing the friend summons is going to be a huge benefit to me. It's
Yes.
also Zenny, because I'm always like, for me, I'm always running out of Zenny. I don't know how
Yep.
y'all can keep your Zenny up. I'm always running out.
Trust me,
So-
I think it was just last year, I was like really low on Zenny, and this thing just shot me right back up. And now I'm like, I have an insane amount of Zenny right now. But yeah, and here's the thing for global players, I know some people hesitate because we are probably due for a new friend summon LR at some point. But just like depending on how many friend points you have, just save a stash of like 1 or 200,000 friend points. That should be enough to get you what you need. So I recommend everybody go pretty hard on these banners on global for sure.
Joe, I have 3.5 million friend points. I have
Okay.
882 million Zenny, and I have 290 Elder Kais.
Yeah, I mean you're pretty good, but I would
Yeah.
be greedy and take
I'm
more.
gonna be
Go
okay.
for more. Go for more. Why not?
Get more.
Get more. Why not?
More!
you can use up at least a million.
More!
Use up at least a million of your friend points. See what you get. You never know.
I'll make a summon video just all about friend summon.
Oh, it
Yeah,
would be the
I
most
mean-
boring summon video ever. That's the bad part is it takes a long time to summon. We do need that skip button. I will definitely be a proponent of that. Get us that skip button. For sure. I don't know why they can't give us that skip button. That's really bad. Anyways, let's
Catan
move on
has
to
it.
JP. Go ahead, Minato.
Catan has it. The skip button.
I know. And it's like, why can't they do it? And we can skip like animations in game and stuff. Not that attack animations, but we can skip like the what do you call it? The
Entrance animations.
Active
and
skills
the-
and entrance.
and the support items. That's the other thing I'll say. Support memories, you can skip those too. So the one thing I don't like though is if it's on auto, you can't skip it. It like forces it through. That's the one thing I don't like. But anyways, let's go on to JP. So we have got the new goddess of Dokkan, Tech Pan. Minato, how insane is she? Is she the best TUR? What do you think?
I think on her own team, she is probably the best TUR in the game. I just feel like, I want to wait more and see her partners and how good they could be. For example, we know the GT, Goku, Trunks, and Pan, the LR are getting their EZA. We could possibly see sub EZAs for like some of these Trunkses, right? There's a lot of opportunities for her partners to improve and her team to get better. So I still want to wait, but I mean, I feel like a lot of people in the community have seen this Pan like just absolutely destroy Red Zone Broly, right? Her active skill hits like a nuke like Blue Cow can because they're stacking attack. Her defense is absurd because she has 50% damage reduction in slot 1 before she attacks, right? And even after she's attacking, she has like 600k plus defense, 700k defense, right? It's absurd how strong this Pan actually can be. And she has a unlike like Videl, who is like kind of a similar situation. She has a very strong link set. She has great teams. Her leader skill is pretty good. I think it's better than people were thinking because people look at the actual 200%. They're like, oh, it sucks. But Bond of Friendship and then Dragon Ball Seekers, like especially Bond of Friendship, that's a really good team, right? Dragon Ball Seekers, could be better, but that team could really easily improve. Like if Baby Saga is actually worldwide, I personally don't really expect it for worldwide like that, but if it is, then like a new Super Saiyan 4 Goku on there could be really strong, right? There could be tons of units added. So yeah, Pan is looking pretty good, I think, even for the future. And she's just very, very strong. She needs a little bit of time to build up, but once you get her rolling, she's I can't even, there's no other word to describe her. She's insane. Busted, I would say.
Yeah. Joker, have you seen any footage? Do you have any opinions on Pan at this point?
Yeah, I've seen the community be a little bit split down the middle on her because a lot of people are, praising her because of how much damage she can do and her damage reduction. But then I've seen other people try and just flame her because after you attack, for some people, they're still getting destroyed because their defense isn't that good. And, that there's a difference between a rainbow Pan and a 55% Pan, obviously. But, no, I don't think anyone is questioning that she can do stupid amounts of damage. It's just how it is. But her defensive capabilities, especially since that 50% reduction is limited to slot 1, you don't want to use her as a floater or in slot 2, so it's restricted in that way. So I kind of agree with Minato where we would want to see some other units to come along with her to see if they can take the brunt in case that Pan gets locked not in slot 1. And then you just die.
Sure.
I would point out that I think that her defense is quite still good. After super attacking right in the right situations, people just barely got the unit, so they're trying her out at 55% link level 1. And it's like, no. I think I know the clip you're pointing out. I'm not sure if you saw that clip that I'm talking about, but when she's linked with Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta. And it's like, well, right there, you don't, firstly, she's probably link level 1. 55%, and then you don't have like her. You don't have On the Family active. You don't have Saiyan Lineage active. You don't have any support on rotation. Any of your good partners. So I wouldn't take that video as like a true like testament of how good she'll be, in her right setup. Right. That, in my opinion, her link Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta share like what 2 links, right?
Something like that.
Well, 3 links.
GT.
But they don't share any of her defense links, which is the important links you want to get activated because she already does enough damage, right?
Yeah, and the other thing too is if you get her rainbowed, you can put defense equips on her and to help that out as well, I think would be really good. Tystra, do you have any thoughts on Tech Pan?
So I've seen the good and the bad when it comes to Tech Pan, and ultimately, like, and this is coming from a Dokkan boomer who for a while refused to like adapt. Take it from me to all of you. This isn't the day and age where you could just combine a unit with any other unit and be okay. Red Zone is a completely different animal itself, and you have to truly think about what you're doing when you go into these stronger, like harder units and event stages. You can't just put 2 and 2 together. Like Minato said, you need to think about Pan's best linking options. You need to get those link levels up, and you have to make sure that you have the unit on a team where all-around cohesiveness is going to work. So I think that Pan is absolutely monstrous when it comes to what she can do. And I find it very funny that her dad, which was like, had a unit Tech Gohan that is still revered as one of the great units of Dokkan, and STR Videl, which, she's not the best unit in Dokkan, but back when she first released and all that, she was still really, really good. So it's really funny to see that this unit is now, considered and in top contention of one of the best TURs in the game. Just an overall beast of a card itself, and I can't wait to summon for her personally. Like, it's it's bonkers from what I can see. And I feel bad for the translators who had to translate like every single like super attack right out the get-go. That was funny to me.
Yeah,
You mean Gresh?
Yeah, Garesh.
Grass, yeah. I find it very perplexing once again when we see a unit like Pan, we see Ginyu, and we see Videl, which are like less hype characters that basically their units on release, there's discussion, are they the best TUR in the game? And then we have Raditz. Like, why did they not make Raditz as
What are you
busted
talking
as these
about?
units? Like
Raditz is the best unit in the game.
Yeah, I saw a
you talking
screenshot of him doing a 15 mil attack stat. There's no way there were any items used in that video. I mean,
Absolutely not.
That was just Raditz, and they just slapped him on a team. They didn't link level him or anything. It was 55% Raditz, 15 mil. There you go.
Yeah, absolutely. Best unit in the game.
Yep, right there. So, I don't know. But yeah, the Pan's crazy. I'm definitely going to summon for her when she comes out on Global. I'm a big fan of like Videl and Pan characters just in general, so I'm very excited for it. Very, very happy to see it. Now, the other thing that we got here, which maybe I think opinions might be a little bit more split on this unit, but I really like them. We got a banner unit, Trunks and Giru. So, Minato, why don't you give us the overview of Trunks and Giru and what your thoughts are on this banner unit?
I think they're good. I think that people are looking at the raw stats of the unit, right? And it's like at most 400k defense, which is people may get upset for me saying this, but 400k defense isn't all that anymore, right? And it's like I understand that point, but you have to consider how much they're providing. Like I'm literally just gonna look at the wiki page and tell you everything they do. GG Hero, Bond of Friendship, Dragon Ball Seekers, Key 1 and 20% attacking defense. So it stacks, so they can give a total of Key 3 and 60% attacking defense support. They create AGO and Tech Key Spheres, 2 End Key Spheres, so they're a double orb changer. They can then debuff all enemies with 20% attack. They can also support all allies again by another Key 2, 10% attacking defense, and 10% crit chance. So in total, like for Pan, he supports her by 5 Key, 70% attacking defense, and then 10% crit chance. And he just needs to get 7 orbs, which he creates himself. And he gets pretty solid attack and defense numbers, right? So he's good. I think people look at his pure stats and are like, oh, he sucks, right? Do I think it would have been nice if he had a little more defensive utility like evasion, or maybe instead of greatly raising attack, raise defense on super? Yeah, but I still think he's pretty strong and he's a must run on that Pan team. So yeah, I definitely like this Trunks, and I actually do have him. I don't have the Pan, but I have Trunks, so eventually I'll be able to try Pan and Trunks out, right? But they look pretty good, and from what I've seen in some of these like early showcases, Trunks is very runnable.
Yeah, very good. Tystra, what are your thoughts on the Trunks and Giru?
I mean, I haven't really looked too much into them, but just from what Minato's saying right there, like it seems like they're more of a support unit, and really like you can't go wrong with support units in any gacha game. Like you're really gonna need it for teams in general. But that's really all I could say about it. I haven't done much research on them myself. I did find it odd that we had a Trunks and Giru, but you know, I ain't gonna complain, especially if they link decently well with the Pan. So
yep. Well,
that's a win in itself. In of itself.
And I'm glad it's a Trunks and Giru, not just a Trunks, because at some point there'll be a good standalone GT Trunks that you could throw on the team, and they're gonna link. So I'm
Exactly.
actually okay with them being a joint forces. Joker, what are your thoughts on Trunks and Giru?
I think they're a pretty fantastic unit for what they're built to do. Like, they're not mainline damage. They're here to support Pan, but you cannot undervalue the power of double orb changing, right? Because everyone, like, Weirus double orb changes, and we know how strong he is when, you put him with the LR Super Saiyan 4s, making Fizz orbs pretty much everywhere for him. Sure, he's not the greatest unit, but he can still bring a crap ton of orbs to the field, and that's exactly what the Trunks and Giru are doing, are just bringing a crap ton of orbs. And then when you remember that the next unit we're going to talk about, the GT Trio, is also int, and they're going to support that unit as well, maybe not as much as Pan, but still by a decent amount, and then they're making a crap ton of int orbs for them. They're going to look really good, and it's going to be a fantastic runnable setup right there, rotation. So I think that for what they are as just a mainline support, it's a great unit.
Yeah, so like you said, I'm going to build off of what you said because your thoughts were exactly what I was thinking. I think they're fantastic. When you're supporting a unit for 70% and 5 key, that's absolutely crazy. And I have used Weirus a ton since we've actually gotten like these updated fusion teams, and I've been using Weirus in red zone. And I think this unit's going to be better defensively than Weirus. So I'm actually very excited. Double orb changers are crazy. And when you're supporting for 5 key and you're orb changing, that's going to make a really huge difference when you're linked up with that, or when you're on rotation with the LRGT trio, which is getting EZA that you just brought up. And I did look it up, and I think they do get the full 5 key 70% from them. I could be wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong here, but I'm pretty sure they get the full support. So I'm very excited to see them. So let's jump into discussion on the GT trio here. Their EZA is coming. So we can talk about if we think they're going to be good and maybe predictions for what we want their passive to be. So Minato, I'll start with you. Thoughts on the GT trio, and you can correct me if I'm wrong about them getting the full support, but I think they do.
Okay, so first and foremost, I have to publicly admit that I am an idiot.
Okay. I think we already knew that, but no, I'm just kidding.
So with my face cam, right?
Yeah.
Apparently, I clicked start streaming and not start recording.
Oh.
Oh no!
Wow.
So I started actually
Bravo.
recording the face cam right now.
So have you been live streaming the podcast for everyone to see? Is that what's going on?
But they can only hear me, right? It's just me talking about random stuff that they probably had no idea. And
Quality
it was-
Dokkan manager right there.
Oh my god.
it's okay. We could still save this because I have I have the VOD, so we could technically use that. But I just want to say, always double check. Always double.
You did double check. That's the thing.
I double checked okay, something else. I double checked Audacity, okay? But anyway, let's talk about the GT trio. Woo!
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, their EZA is coming. Let's go. Well, yeah, I think that okay. Anyways, continue. Okay, so they're EZA. I think I'm very interested to see how they're gonna turn out. I feel like, with their EZA, I just want them to really be a very strong slot 2 option. Obviously, Pan is designed to be the slot 1 unit for the team, so just go all out with defense in slot 2. Give them like a bunch of extra defense when attacking. I would say maybe some evasion or something, right? Something interesting. Honestly, if they even want to add support on there, I'd be fine with it. Like, super class allies get like 2 key and 40% or 30% attacking defense, something like that, right? It's very weird. It's hard to tell what they're going to do because there's like not other like Goku Trunks and Pan units we get based off of to kind of guess in what they're going to do. They're a very bland unit already, right? So I think that they could really add a lot to them and make them interesting. But yeah, we should have their details within the next couple of days. So I'm very excited to see how they're going to turn out.
Very good. Joker, what do you want out of this GT trio?
I agree. I mean, they raised their defense by 33% for 3 turns on their Ultra Super. So if you either bump the defensive raise or increase the stack limit to like 6 turns, that would already increase their value immensely. And then, with their upgraded passive, they're getting 1 key per Dragon Ball Seekers ally on the team, which, this Pan now is going to run a full Dragon Ball Seekers. And unfortunately, I just checked, they only share 2 links together. Saiyan Lineage and GT with the Tech Pan, but the Trunks and Giru do give the full 70% support to them, so that kind of makes up for it. So I would just like them to get like a whole bunch of extra defense and attack in their passive and increase the stack turns for their super attack effect to 6 and 3 turns respectively.
Yep. Tystra, what are you looking for out of this unit?
So yeah, definitely could use a little bit more of a defense stack. We kind of already discussed that. But the one thing I want to see in the passive, and maybe I'm a little bit crazy on this one, I would love to see some sort of counter mechanic. And the reason why I say that is because there's 3 characters in this card, technically. You could use the counter mechanic in the sense of like they attack one of them and then the other 2 or they're going to attack the one unit and then the other 2 characters in that unit like have that character animation to stop the attack. So it'd be kind of cool to see something like that. I know that really the only units that use the counter mechanics are, fusion type characters like Vegito or SSJ4 Gogeta, and then of course the Goku Vegeta SSJ4s. But I would kind of like to see it just because it'd be a little bit newer for, I guess in the sense of joined forces unit.
Yeah. I'm gonna echo a lot of what Joker said. I think the defense, what I was looking at was their super attack effect and their defense raising. And I instantly thought I want them to raise the amount of turns they can stack defense. And if you think about the unit, you think about their super attack animation, it's all 3 characters attacking. It's from the GT intro. But with the multiple characters attacking, I feel like why not give these guys built-in additionals? Then they can stack their defense with those additionals. I could even see them do, like, the craziest thing would be like, let's say if you're on rotation with the Trunks, guaranteed additional. If you're on rotation with the GT Goku, guaranteed additional. And if you're on rotation with both, 2 guaranteed additionals. How wild would that be? Basically, if you're on rotation with another copy of a character from the card, you get guaranteed additionals to help stack that defense. That's what I would like to see on this unit. And I like Minato's idea of the support passive. That also came to my mind as well. Because when you think of Giru, you think of Pan, even GT Goku, they all have support units in the game of those characters, so I feel like support could definitely be on the agenda as well. Possibly stunning and sealing, but that's not as important. But I want to see defense stacking. That's what I would love to see with multiple supers in their kit. Any other thoughts on this GT trio from anybody?
I'm sorry, I'm just still stuck.
him.
I'm just still stuck on this live streaming thing.
Minato, if you lost your video, we can just tell the editor to put a giant picture of Tech Ultimate Gohan in your spot and just.
Okay, we'll figure it out, right? But yeah, I just think that was funny to share to everyone watching the podcast.
and everyone watching your live stream that was really confused right
I
now.
know. I just checked the chat. I just checked the chat, and they were like, "What's going on?" They figured out I was doing the podcast, but I guess they got a little sneak peek. Right,
that's right.
But yeah, I would say I really do hope they're good. The Goku, Trunks, and Pan, they have to be good, right? If they're not good, then that's just very that is disappointing, really. But we gotta hope and pray.
Yep, that's right. All right, well, another thing on JP, we finally got the STR Vegito Blue LR EZA. So, Mr. Minato, how is he? Have you used him in game? Do you think he's a lot better now with his upgrades?
I think he's very good. I would say they really, really did fix him properly, just like how he wanted. He really just needed the multiplicative buffs, and then the higher chance to do the additional super on his 18 key. And that just changed like the world for him, right? He's so much better, especially with his unique equipment, right? Because you have to keep in mind, he has this unique equipment. You can get him from the story mode. So with mine, it has an additional 15,000. No, he has an additional 3,000 defense. My bad. He has 20 additional. So he stacks up incredibly fast, right? And it's just absurd how actually good I found him to be. I think he's very powerful. You just you want to get a little lucky with him for sure, and you don't want him in slot 7. As long as you have those 2 things, you're really good. Because you have to get super attacks to build up his multiplicative passive, right? And obviously you want those extra stacks. Once you have those active, he starts getting really, really good.
Yeah. And the one thing I'm wondering too is on global, do you think, because like quest mode is more of like a quality of life thing, do you think they would bring that out early on global, or are they going to tie it to like a future saga celebration?
I would say they're probably going to tie it to the Tanabata celebration,
To
just
the
because
Tanabata, okay.
it comes out with the LR Vegito Blue EZA, which is obviously kind of tied with it. So I think they're going to wait for that personally.
Okay. Because I'm excited. I want him. Now, one more question, Minato, before I pass on to the global players. Do you think he's better than Tech Vegito Blue?
I would say right now, at least on the Future Saga team, I would use him over the Tech one.
And that's because of Lynx, right?
Yeah, it's because of Lynx. It's not because he's like a better unit, though he's very strong. I think it's just really the having prepared for battle.
Yeah.
That Link is so massive, right? And when you have a unit that has it and doesn't, like with team building, you notice a massive difference with that, especially because over in a flash is kind of bad right now. And the only thing with this guy is he doesn't have like first battle, right? Which is also an important link, but I think key is much more important than the extra attack, right?
Yep, for sure. Joker, your thoughts on Vegito Blue EZA?
I'm glad that they listened to the community, mostly the JP community, probably, but I'm glad they went and changed his kit and rebuffed him, because now he's actually a viable unit instead of just being a complete L. I've only seen, I think, one video on him. Actually, no. Have I seen a video on him? Oh God, no. I don't think I have, but I think I've just looked at the
perfect. I
kits.
have 2 showcases out. One
Ooh,
against
do you
Omega
now?
Shenron and one against Red Zone Broly. So
Ooh, perfect.
Everyone check out Minato's channel. He puts out good content over there. You need to check it out.
Don't forget to catch him when he's not live streaming, but actually live streaming.
That's right. Yeah, if you sub to Minato, you might catch some really weird live streams, and you might get some interesting things going on. Maybe he'll just be eating dinner one day in front of his computer, and you just get to watch. You never know. So
it's possible.
Tystra, do you have any thoughts on STR Vegito Blue EZA?
I mean, it's really just echoing what everybody's saying. Like, overall, glad that they listened to the community. And I think it shows that really Dokkan, or the devs for Dokkan, are starting to finally understand where the player base is coming from when we want certain things for certain units. So it's really cool that they reworked him and then buffed him after, much deliberation, I guess is a good way to put it, between the community. But yeah, I'm excited for him to come in. Can't wait for Tanabata, because honestly, I think that's when he's coming out too. So yeah.
Yep. Yeah, the thing too, I think part of the reason they upgraded him and listened to the community, because he is kind of a community card. He is the card that won the special election for the LR. So he was chosen by the fan base. So I think that's another reason. And if you think of Dokkan, what I love about Dokkan is that it is not PvP. And so you never hear somebody complain that a unit is too good. Like, you'll never hear that. Like, we love it when the units are busted. We only complain when the units are bad. So there's really no reason for them to release bad units. There's no reason not to just make them all busted. So I'm glad they listened here, made them better. If Raditz hadn't come out first on JP, I would have hope, but I know they're going to keep them the same. They're not going to do another Goku Black thing like they did before. That was kind of crazy how our Goku Black is still better, physical Goku Black. But, it does give me hope for the future that they possibly would change it again. But we talked about it last week. Don't expect this to happen often. This has only ever happened twice in the game's history. It's this unit and physical Gotenks on release. So any other thoughts on this Vegito Blue or the stuff I was just talking about?
No, I'm good.
Okay, well, let's move on. We got a couple of free-to-play units here. We've got Rildo and we've got GT Goku. I just want to say something really quick on these units, because I watch showcases, and GT Goku does put up pretty decent attack stats. But I think I like Rildo more. The problem with Rildo, he doesn't have, like, teams yet. But if GT Bosses gets, like, a legit 200% team, I'm actually really liking the Rildo personally as a support unit. But Minato, you're more of an expert on me. You've probably actually used the units. What do you think of these free-to-plays?
So I'm actually a farmer their links, so I haven't used them yet.
Okay.
I think that the GT Goku should have had a little more against GT bosses, because, like, if we're talking, like, people are gonna get upset because I think, people don't like, oh, not everything could be judged off red zone, but I'm gonna judge off red zone a little. He wants to be facing a GT bosses enemy, but the only, like, relevant GT bosses enemies are in red zone. But he's tech, and there's no AGL GT boss enemy that's, like, relevant in that. So that's an issue for him, and his defense, I feel, could be a little better. Maybe if he had, like, some damage reduction. Like, what if he's facing a GT bosses enemy and he has 59% damage reduction? Something like that would be pretty good, right? Like a GT version of Tech God Goku, right?
Yeah.
That could be really interesting. Roto, I do agree. I think he looks better. He just needs a GT bosses, like, actual team. So hopefully, again, maybe worldwide or something, we can get an actual very strong GT bosses option. And he could be a very strong floating unit. I think that with the raising defense on super attack, and then on a super attack effects and a support, it's all blends together. I think I like them. I just think, unfortunately, they're free-to-play units, so their stats are going to be way lower. So, I don't know. I don't want to judge them until I use them yet, but I'm not really looking like that, like, excited for either of them, but we'll see.
Yeah, and with this Rildo getting an EZA and the fact that's a pan celebration, man, I really want them to break the seal on these 50% EZAs. We got an AGL, Rildo, and Pan that could EZA, and I think that would be really hype if they actually did it during the celebration. But I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. Tystra, do you have any thoughts on the free-to-plays? I don't know if you've seen videos on them or have any opinions at this point.
I haven't seen any videos on them, but I've read them a little bit, and I mean, I'm always happy when like free-to-play units get those EZAs or get powerful buffs in general. Yeah, overall, from what I'm looking at kit-wise, I like Rildo's a little bit more myself, but you know, overall, he needs more teams, I think, and GT Bosses needs that 200% lead for sure, so in that way, you could get more of a benefit off with the Rildo. But overall, yeah, they're both decent for free-to-play units. I can't really complain about them.
Yeah, Joker, do you have any thoughts on the free-to-plays?
Goku is good, but some of his passive is a little bit less powerful than you would want. And then for Rildo, alongside, not having teams, I think they really could have, when his support is GT Boss's allies 2 key and 40% attack. I really don't know why they couldn't just do attack and defense. Like, he's a free-to-play unit. He needs the extra, buff there. And yeah, also, he's a free-to-play unit, so maybe he doesn't deserve a pretty decent support passive. But it's like, why? You're not really going to take him into red zone, right? So why not just make him that much better for everything else? I don't get it.
Yeah. Was Rildo attack or was he defense? I thought he was 40% defense. Am I wrong?
No, he's 40% attack and 40% 2 key attack for GT bosses.
Okay. Yeah, I agree. He should have just had both. There's no reason not to give him both, but yeah, we'll have to wait for that 200% lead. GT bosses, I don't know. Like, pretty much all these GT boss units that are getting released, they're just getting released too early now because they're just sitting there and aging while they're waiting for this 200% lead. Like, the Super 17 would be so fun. The Shenron rotation with Tech and Physical Omega, I think, is a really good rotation. Even on a 170, they're crazy, but I want to see them on a 200. So hopefully it's coming soon. That would be really, really nice.
I keep getting unlucky, and I haven't actually beat the GT Bosses mission for Goku event because Super 17 keeps getting supered by Int Goku and taking like 700k, and it's every run. It's every run. It's always happening. Slot 3 when he's floating, and I hate it.
Yep. I mean, try like I did. I didn't use Super 17. I actually had Technova Shenron there supporting. I did a full Shadow Dragons. Yeah, I did a full Shadow Dragons, and I got by somehow. I just got lucky, though.
I'll try that this time, then.
Yeah. And then the next thing, we got a Vegeta Family ESBR. This sounds like it's going to be an absolute cakewalk. Minato, do you want to say anything about this? I don't know. I don't think it's going to be that hard.
Vegeta and Trunks, and then you win.
That's it. Yeah, exactly.
And Vegeta.
Yes, Majin Vegeta. I mean, he is good. I mean, with the AoE, too. Like, you could get that AoE active skill off, potentially, but...
I would actually probably won't get that off, because you're going to have the Vegeta and Trunks slot 1, so...
And they're just going to be dominating.
I guess you don't have to have them in slot 1 because, again, they have the guard for the first 5 turns. And you're going to have that active, so you could even put them in slot 3 if you want. But I think they're going to be slot 1 anyways because they're just the best defensive unit on that team, right?
Sure.
Easily.
Yeah, for sure. Well, does anybody have anything else they want to add before we wrap up today? All right. No? Anything? No? Okay. All right. Well, that is going to do it for our show today. This has been episode 93 of the Dokkan Battle Podcast. I would like to thank our guests today, Ice Cold Joker, Tystra, and Minato, for sharing their wisdom with us all today. Thank you to Manscaped for sponsoring today's podcast. Don't forget to use code 59gaming at checkout for 20% off your order. My name is Joe Wags. It has been an absolute honor hosting for you all today. Thanks to everyone for listening, and we will catch you all on the next one. See ya.
Bye.
Later, guys.